there it is again. Beautiful city. I always film this sort of thing. It's like a tradition of mine. You gotta have personal traditions, you know? And one of mine is to film the Nashville skyscrapers and all the other crap they're building around here that's probably really fucking ugly and gonna fall apart. Has really bad lighting and really bad sound quality and ceilings that are way too high. But that's fine, you know, that's what they're told to do, so they do it, right? Well, that's what I film every time I leave Nashville, just to prove that I went to Nashville. But I ended up talking with this comic. I mean, I guess he's a friend. I don't really know how to classify people, because, you know, there are times that I thought that somebody was my friend when they really weren't, and then there are times when, you know, like I hang out with somebody from time to time, but I don't know if I hang out with them enough to call them that. But anyway, we just got gas at the ghetto gas station. And it's good. We filled up the tank. The immigrant was really nice. I know he was an immigrant because he had an accent, okay? I'm not one of these piece of shit racists that just hates people because they look different or sound different, okay? I look different and sound different. So why would I be in the business of racism? That doesn't make sense. But anyway, you should say that. That's pretty good. It's clever and it's true. But anyway, so I got booked on a show at Zany's in September. That's not the actual comedy club though, it's like the little place next to it called The Lab, which I'm not a big fan of. I went there one time with Ronnit, didn't like it. Ronnit is an actual friend, because we spent time with each other outside of what we met each other doing, you know? So I met her at Twin Kegs too, in case you're not familiar with this channel. That was a bar that existed in a really terrible part of Nashville, and it got robbed like twice, and then eventually he just sold it because they corporatized that whole area and the rent was way too high, so he just gave up on it. But I was pretty cool with like the owner, and I was pretty cool with the bartenders. And the bartender tonight at this place called the Amsterdamian off Gallatin Avenue in East Nashville, right next to the Z-Mart ghetto gas station, all right? She seemed pretty cool. I mean, it's always like a major risk allowing a comedy show, because you don't know what they're gonna say. It's like with the music, people might not like it, but with comedy, like, that's another level of offensive. You know, if you trigger somebody and then they leave and they don't pay their tab or something, or they could just lie about you on Yelp, you know? It's like, there's so many ways to ruin businesses now because of the internet. You just go on Facebook and bitch about it, and people will see it because that's all they're paying attention to now. But anyway, I've known this dude for a few years. Charter's like really, really holistic. He lives right up the street from me too. Like I probably should try to hang out with people so that I'm not like always alone. But yeah, he told me about this thing called hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And he was like, everything that you're trying to do with drugs like can be done with this method of therapy. And I think it's like $150 or something, but he's like, it's well worth it. Because what it does is increase like the blood vessels in your brain. So they just like put you in this machine. And I mean, I know I've heard of this before, but it's cool to talk to somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, especially in relation to like psychedelics and you know, various types of mental illness and like their effects on the human brain. Because you know, we really don't know very much about the brain. In fact, like the only people that seem to know about it or care about it are people, well, that actually use it, first of all, but second, people that have had something wrong with it. Now I know there are plenty of people that have something wrong with their brain that just keep doing the wrong thing about it, and I'm afraid that that's what I've done somewhat with drugs. But at the same time, like I did what I had to do to survive whatever I felt I had to survive. You know what I mean? And so I can understand why people take psych meds. But it just makes them so dull. That's my issue with it. And, you know, all the side effects and the fact that people kill themselves and shoot up schools and we're not allowed to talk about it. But beyond that, there are all kinds of reasons to hate psychiatrists. Unless of course they're holistic and actually give a fuck about the human race. I would strongly suggest that most of them don't. But I have the same opinion about pretty much all doctors. But anyway, I'm really glad I got out though. I'm really glad I got out. Yeah, so after I finished that poster that I showed y'all in the last video, I went back to the bar and I just sat outside and talked with other comics. And so I'm not good at that stuff, but I know that it's still good for me overall. Like it's better for my mental health if I do stuff like that, even though I don't want to.